evening, and welcome to another episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And today is not just another ordinary episode, it's episode 70. Wow, Kirbai, congratulations.
Congratulations to you too.
Wow, who would have thought when we first started we would be on episode 70 today?
Yes, there's something that we need to reckon with. 70. And I always say there's something that we thought that, we just, let's try, let's test the waters. But, the waters have become deep blue sea now with the 70th episode. And it's great. We thank God for our perseverance. Sometimes, personally, I would think I would like to take a break on a Tuesday. Why not? Why should I do this? But you know what? What motivates you and me to do this is to touch lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's what we signed up to, yeah?
Yes, what we signed up to. So perseverance and being intentional about what we are doing every week, week in and week out. Sometimes, yes, we miss. Last week we missed. We you had something on, and we thought we'll take a break, and that's fine. But you know what?
Absolutely.
Pushing through, push until something happens, and it's
There you
happening.
go. There you go. It absolutely is. And you know what? It also goes to show just the power of like being consistent. Like
Hmm.
when you start something, because I think when you start something, sometimes you don't know how far it's going to go.
Hmm.
You don't know what the feedback is going to be.
Hmm.
Like you can't see the road ahead. But when you are consistently doing this thing, you start to see the impact. You start to see actually this can be this. You start to see
Yeah.
like everything else that it could be. And so, but I want to celebrate you, Kirabai, for like being being the visionary of the journey. Because you started the conversation, and here we are today on episode 70. So thank you for not giving up on the vision and for just pressing on and helping me to keep going. Because I think when you're doing something with somebody as well, there's accountability there. And so it
Mhm.
helps
Yeah.
for you to stick to it, to show up every single time, every single week. Honestly, but anyway, we are grateful. We're grateful that we have made it this far, and to everyone that has watched any one of our episodes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are the reason why we're still showing up.
That's
So
right.
thank you.
And it ties in so well with your show up and shine challenge.
Yes, it does.
And
Yes, it
this is the
does.
power of collaboration. Before we take the topic of the 70th episode this week, would you like to share about showing up and shining challenge? That it'll be great because it all ties in. It all ties in, man. It just ties in so
Absolutely.
well. And would
Absolutely.
you like to share? Yeah, come on,
So
Elizabeth.
So, for those that are watching and wondering what is Show Up and Shine, so in July of last year, I started the challenge, the Show Up and Shine Social Media Visibility Challenge for Christian women. The purpose of the challenge is to inspire Christian women to show up and shine consistently on social media. But it goes beyond just showing up on social media, because I encourage them to also show up and shine outside of social media in the communities and the spaces that they find themselves in. But it's a really great community for Christian women where we have accountability, we have community. So when someone needs prayer, we can pray for each other. We inspire each other, we motivate each other, we challenge each other to keep showing up and shining. And for me, like when I speak to some of the women and see the change that
Mm.
has happened as they have been part of the challenge, it's amazing to see some of them are discovering skills that they never knew they even had.
Yes.
So it's really good, and some of them are getting clarity, they're gaining confidence in doing things that they were once afraid to do. So as much as it starts off as a show up and shine consistently on social media challenge, you start to grow in different areas and you discover things about yourself and you grow in your confidence. So hey, if you are a Christian woman out there that is watching this and thinking, I want to be part of that, get in touch with me via social media. If you go on my profile, you will see a link somewhere, and you can join the challenge. It's not too late. We just started the challenge for the month of August, so it just keeps on rolling as the month goes. It just keeps on rolling, and we have a Facebook community that you can come and be a part of. It's an amazing community, but I'm biased. But hey, Coach Kiruba is in there as well, so she can tell you. But it's a great community.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth, because I think what the topic that we are talking about today, what problems are you solving in this day and age? Because when people join that challenge, they're discovering different talents and different skill sets. And
Absolutely.
also, these, when you talk to these women, these are things that they have gone through in their lives, and now they're helping other people. You don't need to be a coach or a mentor to help someone solve their problem.
Mm,
and and this is the amazing tapestry of God, how he brings things together. And it's a
absolutely.
big picture, a puzzle put together with a beautiful tapestry picture, and showing up, and what he has intended through all these little pockets of things that we do, and how we are touching lives and helping solve problems
Mm.
in someone else's life. So, Elizabeth, would you like to kickstart of this? Remember last month where we attended Women's Aglow, and
Absolutely.
and this amazing pastor spoke on this topic. It was a Christian gathering, but it was amazing how he encouraged us women. And it was all it. I was immediately wanted to put this topic out for confidence culture, but you know what? We were doing something a little bit more different. We were building character and nature and attitude. So I thought, August, let's talk about how we can solve people's problems.
Mm,
Mm.
mm. You know what? Shout out to Pastor Nick Chanda.
Mhm.
He came and spoke a message that really stirred up the women and stirred all of us up, which was really, really good. And so just diving into like what problems are you solving? So I'm going to bring in purpose because for me, I believe purpose is linked to the problems that we have been created to solve. And
Mhm.
I believe every one of us has been created to solve a problem. There is a problem, at least one problem. There might be loads of problems that you can solve, and that's great, but there is at least one problem. So if you're out there thinking, oh, I don't know my purpose, what, like, I'm wondering questions about purpose, start to think about what problem can I solve and put your heart into solving that problem. And therein, you will find your purpose. Really, seriously. So, when we think about what problems am I created to solve, I want to use an analogy, right? Let me use an example of somebody who makes something. So, a creator of something. So, let's say a teapot. Let's use a teapot as an example. So, a teapot did not just appear out of nowhere. Someone realized that, hang on, there is a little problem here. I can create something that will solve this problem. And so this person went about designing and they created a teapot, right? Um, Someone decided, Thomas Edison, that we need some light. There is a problem of no light.
Oh,
So what
yes.
can I do? And he went through the process of trying to create something. It failed, create, fail, create, fail, create. I think he tried about 100 times, but don't quote me on that. But it was almost about 100 times, or if not 100 times. And eventually he got the light bulb. And look at it. If we didn't have the light bulb, where would we be today? What would society be like? You look at things like, a laptop or a phone, it solves a problem. So, really, what are you here to solve? And it might not be that you're creating something physical and tangible. It might be that you solve an emotional problem. It
Mm.
might be that you solve a problem where someone is struggling to grow and you come in as a coach and you help them. They're struggling to find balance in their lives and you come in and you help them. You might be somebody who's a teacher and you're solving the problem of a lack of knowledge. You're helping people to acquire the knowledge. You know, what is that problem? It doesn't have to be a problem that is big, and it can be a small problem. It can be something that looks like a small problem, but you bring a solution for it. A few weeks ago, I was delivering a session in a school with an amazing, amazing young lady, Sophie or Sophia, and she is the CEO of, I think it's Roti Maker. I, I might not get it right there, but I need to look it up probably. But it's something to do with rotis. And she, years ago, her mom she comes from an Asian background, and her mom would be making chapatis, and they would be making chapatis literally every day. And her dad created something to solve the problem of, making the rotis. And so her dad created that, and it was this nice little thing, and she comes along and she modernizes it, and it is selling like hotcakes.
Wow, she's
It is selling.
capitalized on it, huh?
She's
Monetized it.
capitalized it. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She's making money out of it, and it's just to help people to quicken
But
the process.
making rotis can be so tedious.
Yeah, it can be so tedious, so it's just there to help you with that process.
Mm.
And it's a whole business. That's what a business is. A business is there to solve a problem. So when you're thinking about what business can I start, I don't know, I don't have any ideas. Think about what problem can you solve and tackle it from that angle.
Don't be that problem. You be that problem solver.
There you go. And do you know what? Sometimes there's some people who are very good at pointing out problems. It's okay to identify problems, but don't just point out problems. Provide solution. And actually, one of the skills of great leaders is being able to provide solution to problems. Kind of like where we are today here in the UK, we are looking for great leaders to stand up and solve the problem that society is facing right now, because there's riots that are coming up all around the country. And we need leadership to stand up and solve the problem.
Yes. So don't hide yourself under the bushel. If you can contribute something, you might not be in UK, but the whole world is in chaos. If you can be that problem solver to make way for something better, why
Absolutely.
not stand up, show up yourself, and shine? That for you could be called as you could be having a purpose of being a politician, a good politician, a politician that is honest, with full of integrity, and a
That's it.
politician who will talk. What do they say? Talk, walk the talk. So, you never know. There are greatness in all of us here. And, I always like to nudge Elizabeth, talk about Uganda. She gets riled up. I suppose they all get riled up, but do not, please, ladies, if there's a gentleman watching, do not underestimate small beginnings. If you really desire to be that person to stand up and be the voice for someone else, why not? Go for it. Go for it. And while Elizabeth was talking about this young lady's father's creativity, we all have creativity, the elements of creativity within us. So you know what? Let's stir that up. And Elizabeth always talks about Elizabeth. We lost you. Hi, Elizabeth. Are you there? I'm just going to continue. Elizabeth just spoke about this roti maker, and Elizabeth talked about purpose. So your purpose can be something a little different. Um, I'm going to share my story a bit in this juncture, as while waiting for Elizabeth to join us. I I lost something when I was young, and it was because of the abuse I went through, and it was a big loss in for me personally. And being a plus size person and not being able to understand myself, and I carried a lot of shame. I now you I'm just going to continue.
Please continue. I don't know what happened to the internet. It just went off.
So I use that. Well, good, good to have you back. For a moment, I thought, where's Elizabeth? So because of what I went through, today I touch many people's lives in the area of abuse. I can just sniff it out when someone wants to hide something or speak about something that they, there's always this mask that people wear. I know they have gone through some abuse because of what I went through, and uh, and when it comes to empowering women with their confidence in their dressing, I'm there, man. I'm there because I'm a plus size woman and I help women. And that has now turned into a business, turned into building confidence in areas and bringing in some income, but yet touching lives. We are called to enrich people's lives. And it has spurred up my creativity, which I never thought when I was a banker. I was just there counting money, people's money, but it has spurred up creativity. And I thank God for that. Ooh, I'm excited of what God can do through me and what God can do through you.
Do you know what? It's so interesting because the reality in life is that every day we're solving problems. We're just not recognizing it.
Hmm.
When you're working for somebody, you're solving a problem.
Yeah.
When you're working for yourself, you're solving a problem. Wherever you find yourself, there is a problem there for you to solve. And it's always a question of, okay, can I monetize this? If you want to start a business, it's about solving a problem. What is a problem you're willing to solve? Look at somebody who has a cleaning business, they're solving a problem.
Hmm.
Someone who has a salon, they're solving a problem. So every business out there is solving a problem. And you as an individual, never look at yourself and think that I don't have it. Never look at yourself and think that I don't have what it takes. Just think of a problem, pick a problem. There's so many problems out there and you can solve it. And it's interesting because going back to what Pastor Nick was saying that day, by the way, if you want the message of Pastor Nick, please get in touch with me and I can send you the link. It's on my private YouTube page. But he was one of the things he mentioned, or where he ended off, was kind of talking about the fact that there are so many. Oh, how do I want to put it? So many. I'm gonna say fake things, but fake is not really the word I'm after. But like you see women wearing false eyelashes, you see people wearing wigs, you see people wearing fake nails. Like they're solving a problem. Who would have thought? Who would have thought years ago that fake nails or eyelashes or wigs would be the thing for today? But someone has found a problem and they're solving a problem. So there is somebody that has a problem. Find out what the problem is and see how you can solve it. And you just never know, you might get paid for solving it. So never think that there is nothing in your hands. There is always something in your hands that you can use to solve a problem out there. You just need to open your eyes and, should I say, shine your eyes, like my Nigerian people like to say.
and and I like that. I've never heard of it, but you know what? Shine your eyes. But something that comes very easy for you. You know, it might be difficult for me, but it's something that comes so easy for you, can be that point of contact for you to solve someone else's problem. And talking about that, when you solve someone else's problem, joy fills your heart. There's contentment.
Mm,
You're happy. Oh, I touched someone else's life. I touched someone's life just by doing a small gesture. And that is exciting, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, it's really exciting when for me, if I do something out of love for someone else, it gives me a lot of contentment.
mm.
So you receive contentment. You can't be the grumps, complaining. But you know what? There's joy in your heart.
That's it.
And what does joy do? It adds good hormones to you. That's why Elizabeth and I always laugh. We laugh at everything because you know what? We brought joy and contentment to many people.
Mm, mm. No, yeah, no. I think one of the things that I really like to encourage people, especially like people who are stuck in that place where they're saying, "I'm trying to discover my purpose. I don't know what my purpose is." Like, I really encourage people to think about like problems you can solve, and one of the ways that you can do that is think about like things that you're passionate about, or things that make you smile, things that make you laugh, things that make you cry, things that tag deeply on your heart. I remember years ago just thinking about some of the things that I felt I was created to solve. And one of the areas for me was customer services. Why? Because, oh, poor customer services really irritates me. And for me, like when I was doing customer service jobs, I felt like it came easily to me. So whenever I see like customer services that is not up to standard, I'm just like, ugh. And it really it can rub me up the wrong way, so to speak. And so I started to think that, oh, just maybe that's the problem that you've been created to solve. And I was like, oh yeah, just maybe. So what can I start doing about it? And actually I wanted to, so I decided to grow myself in that area, to just really develop my skills in customer services and see where that takes me. So if you discover that there is something that comes easily to you and you think, oh, I can solve a problem in this field, start to nurture yourself, start to grow yourself, start to develop yourself, start to pour into yourself so that you actually have what it takes to go out there and stand confidently and say, this is the problem I can solve for you.
So what you're saying is to retrain. That means to develop yourself, take some classes or take, just harness your skills. That's what you're saying, Elizabeth.
Absolutely.
And it's so important, no? It's so important for personal development. It's so vital. Till the very last breath, we need to develop ourselves.
Yeah, there's always room for growth. There's always room for you to, go out there and do something that will make you better, or that will help you to be better in the things you're doing. There's always room to upskill yourself.
Yeah,
But it's just up to you whether
yeah.
you're willing to do it.
So don't make age a barrier.
That's it. That's it. It's not about your age. It's not about your age. The other day we were thinking about like in the Olympics, like we're thinking about the different ages that we see in the Olympics, and we're thinking, oh, there's not many old people in the Olympics, and very true, there isn't. But then yesterday I was watching, and I think it was something to do with either the dressage, the horse thing, the horse, either it's the horses dancing or something. And I'm like, well, he looks old. I saw a guy and he was like, he looked fairly old, and I was like, oh, there you go. So there's different ages that are represented as well to an
Yeah.
extent.
I think it's
Um,
one of I think we have a common acquaintance on Facebook who was part of the Olympics, right? Shauna from America.
Jonah, I'm still trying to understand what race she's actually taking part in.
Yeah.
I know it's something to do with whether it's like a marathon open to the public or something like that.
Wow. And she is not a young bird. No, but I mean, we all congratulated her and appreciated her effort to be part of this Olympics. But you know what? We got to find that out a little bit more from her.
Yeah, but it's well and truly like, even whatever age you're at, there's always a problem that you can solve, and it might be a problem for that generation. It might be a problem for, a generation that's younger than you. It might be for a generation that's gone before you. When people write a book, they're solving a problem.
Hmm.
They're solving a problem. When you tell your story, you're solving a problem. When I went to so last week Thursday, myself and my husband were invited to go to the Windrush celebration organized by Westminster Council. And there were so many amazing people in the room, people who've been through various different struggles and hurdles. And yes, for them, it might have been that they were just doing life the best way they know how to, and trying to survive. But they were solving problems. And what we often don't realize is that even the generation that's gone before us, they've solved problems so that we can have it easier.
Hmm.
There is someone who decided to start up the internet. Internet wasn't there years and years and years and years ago, but someone came up in some generation and decided, okay, let's solve this problem. Being able to speak to people who are miles away from you, but you're able to speak to them in real time. Someone solved that problem.
I hope. I mean, I really hope, because I'm sure these people who attended carried a lot of stories, and they were unsung heroes. And I hope Tunji, encouraged them to write a book and share their story. This is lovely to hear some of these stories, the hardships and the resilience that
Mm.
developed over these days of trials, as I would put it.
Yeah, and you know what? The essence of the celebration was to celebrate the journeys. And so
Ah,
that's really the stories.
yeah.
And with the Windrush conversation coming to light, it's encouraging the Windrush generation to share their stories, because the reality is the Windrush generation are dying away. And when I say dying away, it's old age, it's life is happening.
Yeah.
Um, and so if we're going to hear their stories, we need to hear their stories now
Yeah.
before they're no more.
Yeah. Got to capture
You
them.
know,
Yeah.
and so like with all that's happening with like Windrush, and it's really trying to get the people to tell their stories. And that's what happened in the room that day, was sharing stories, sharing the journey. And there was a lady in the room who actually, she was selling her book, and she has written a book. And it was a journey, or the story of one of the people who came on the Windrush ship, and they were a stowaway. So
Mm.
she actually read a chapter in the book during the event. So it's really a celebration of people's journeys. So even you telling your story can help to solve a problem for somebody, because in you telling your story, someone can pick up some inspiration, someone can pick up some nuggets that they can go and apply to their story, their
Mm.
reality, or they
Mm.
can take something away that will open their eyes to a different reality, or to a different perspective. Like when we were in the room, and they were talking about some of the things that the Windrush generation achieved in their time. And you look back and you're like, you could very easily today take things like that for granted. Access
Mhm,
that people
mhm,
of color have today, you can take it for granted. But sitting there and listening to what these people went through, and one of the things that they emphasized was, it's not like we came just to come as immigrants or to occupy space. Like, the UK called for help and they answered a call. They came to solve a problem.
mm. True.
Okay, there was a poem that was read out, and it was literally every so often in the poem, at the end of every chapter, was at the end of every verse was, you called, we answered. You
Mm.
called, we answered. And that was really the case. And so, just if I put that in today's perspective, or in our reality, people are calling all around us because they have problems. So
Mhm.
what problem are you willing to solve? They say people, for example, who run businesses around diets will never run out of clients, because people are always trying to lose weight. They're solving a problem. So it's just about seeing what is the thing that I can do, what is in your hands that you can do, what problem can it solve, and then start to take consistent action. Consistent action will help you to solve problems. And as you're solving problems, there's opportunities to impact, there's opportunities to add value, there's opportunities to grow your influence, there's opportunities to create an income, because you're solving a problem.
Actually, Elizabeth, recording these stories,
Mm.
it 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 also gives a place for the younger ones to understand what these people have gone through. But if you do not documentate it, the whole thing is lost, you see.
That's it.
So putting the journey in a book, I think it's an excellent idea. It's not for self gratification. It is actually to enhance and to highlight this journey to our younger generation.
Mm, mm.
So I
Yes,
think,
because it's it's stories that we need to hear. We need to hear where our people have come from.
Mhm.
You know, we need to hear what they've gone through. Yes, we might not like it,
Yeah,
but you know, hearing it can help us.
yeah, I mean that's a good way of putting it. I just saw this quote. It says every problem has a solution, although it may not be the outcome that was originally hoped for or expected, but the outcome could be the best outcome ever came out of of your problem. So we might think this journey will take us through this way, but through that journey we are also equipping ourselves, and we are learning
Mm,
something that's coming through this. There's a personal development as you're solving a problem for someone else.
yeah.
And mind you, the outcome, the end result, could be something far greater than what you have expected.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So it will never be something that you will be disappointed, because it's something that we are harnessing through this journey
Mm, mm,
and touching someone else's life. So it is an exciting journey. It might seem daunting, but little steps take you to those bigger breakthroughs. And and you find a lot of people that are satisfied and happy because of what you are doing, because you're touching lives.
because you're solving a problem.
Yeah, you're solving a problem. So people will definitely look out for you.
Mm,
Elizabeth has got some amazing women in this tribe, this community of Show Up and Shine. And as Elizabeth says that, some of them are redefining and rediscovering their purpose. And sometimes the path you take, there could be the other little parts that branch out from
mm.
one path, the one step that you are taking. So when you think about it monetarily, many different streams of income. So I mean, we are talking about income, but you know what, we need money to live.
We
Our
do.
services can't be free all the time.
We
So
do.
yeah, as a business coach, as Elizabeth, as a business coach, she also helps people discover where the areas you can make money.
Mm.
Elizabeth, would you like to say something a little about that? Because I think people need to know you can get help.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? It's having the courage to step out and do something, and also realizing that, you know, for example, if you've never had people in your circle who've like run a successful business, you might think that it's not for you. You might think that you can never do it, but actually the reality is you can. And you don't need to give in to the limiting voices. You don't need to give in to the limiting beliefs around you. And if there is like a burning desire that you have, you can step out and do something with it and actually make something of it. I have a young lady that I worked with. um, this is when I actually started my business. And she came to me, and one of the things she said was, I've had this dream since I was younger, and I really want to do this, but I've just never, for whatever reason, never stepped up to do it. And so we went through some coaching sessions, and bless her, she really tried to keep up with the pace that we were working at. And we're having sessions every week, but we're working towards putting aside the stumbling blocks and actually stepping forward to make this dream a reality. And eventually, we took a break on the coaching sessions, but months later, she messages me and she says, "You'll never believe." And I said, "What?" She's like, "I just put the application through. I am going ahead. I am doing it. And now it has become a reality." And I was so excited because I know where she was at, like the first time that we had the conversation. And I know what it took for her to be able to get to that place where it then becomes a reality. So it is possible. You know, I put out a post at the start of the month about just believing, You have to believe it's possible. So whatever it is that you want to do, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to birth to help you to solve a problem, it is possible. But it's up to you to believe it and take action. But you have to believe. If you take action without belief, it's hardly likely that it will become a reality. But you have to believe in it. Be your biggest cheerleader. Take that step. One of the questions we like to ask in coaching: if nothing was standing in your way and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing? What's that thing? What's that problem that you would like to solve? There's so many. I'm not saying go and solve all the problems, because there's so many. And some of the problems out there, they're huge problems. But like, look at it. Charities are birthed out of a problem. Someone sees a problem and they say, let me start a charity to raise money. Organizations, they're there to solve a problem. Everything is there to solve.
Ooh, we lost again. I think what Elizabeth wanted to say is everything that we do in our daily life is solving a problem. You're hungry, you cook. You're thirsty, you drink a glass of water. Um,
That will help
washing
you.
machine to
That will
help you.
help you to solve a
You need to.
problem. I don't know what's happening with the internet here, but it's kind of like it's against us producing this, but there's a problem that needs to be solved somewhere. So as I was saying, like, there's things that you can do, there's capacity that you have, there's a passion that you have, and you following your passion can help you solve a problem. Sometimes people ask me, but how can I make money from my passion? Can you see your passion solving a problem for somebody? If you can, then actually there is possibility that you can make money out of it. You can make an income from it. But it's entirely up to you. I remember years ago hearing a story of a young man. I think he was based in India. I've never gone to like look at the genuinity of the story, but I had the story somewhere, so I'm going to share it. And I'll share it to the best of my recollection. But it was a young man who was very passionate about football. And he used to, like, every time there'd be a match and it was about Premier League games, Premier League games here in the UK, he would comment, he would post something about it, he would make a note, he would express his opinions. And at one point, one of the big clubs got hold of him and they invited him to come on board to share. He was a young man, but he was like being very critical with what he was sharing, and he was really giving tips and all. So they invited him to come on board. They created room for him. They created a space for him to be able to do something. So
yeah.
So whatever it is that you can do, what is that thing? Can it solve a problem?
Just do it. Just do it.
You might not have the knowledge right now. Go and acquire the knowledge.
And develop yourself.
Develop yourself. Invest in developing you. Invest in growing you so that you can be best equipped to solve the problems that you want to solve, because you will get paid for the problems that you can solve. Pick a problem and solve it. Look around you. Look around you. When people manufacture stuff, they're manufacturing something to solve a problem. When people are creating movies, it's an entertain. They're trying to solve a problem.
It's just entertainment, but there is a message behind that.
Yeah, there's always a problem that can be solved. You just need to pick which one is it that you want to solve.
So before the internet plays up again, Elizabeth, I have spoken with a lot of passion about it, because my life is birthed out of my what I'm doing as a transformation coach is birthed out of the pain, and I'm solving a problem to help women to get their lives sorted, to be that confident, empowered woman of today. So I that's my last words today. Don't just take a pen and paper, write out what problem you can solve, and work on it. If you need some help, get in touch with Elizabeth. And if you want a total brand change, you want to brand yourself, Look for me. I'm happy to help. And Elizabeth.
There you go. You've had it from both of us. We're both here to solve a problem. Even these confidence culture conversations are here to solve a problem. So we're just encouraging you to be intentional. Be intentional with the problems that you are trying to solve. Be intentional, because sometimes we are, let me speak to the Christians out there. Sometimes we are praying for a breakthrough. Sometimes we're praying for God to bring an answer, to bring deliverance. But the answer is already in our hands. It's in our house. It's when God said to Moses, "What is in your hands?" There was something in his hands. He wasn't seeing that this thing could be used to bring deliverance, but God could use this thing to bring deliverance. So it might even be just praying a prayer and saying, God, open my eyes to the things that I have in my hands to solve problems and teach me to solve these problems. It might just be that you have some expertise in a particular area and you talk about it passionately. You can write blogs about it, you can write a book about it, you can start a podcast on it, you can create a business around it. Solving problems, that's what this life is about. That's what it's about. You get paid to solve problems. There's people who do something not as deep as what Kirubai does, but there's people who are personal stylists and they go and shop for people. They go, and they, some of them make loads of money because they have high-end clients, because the high-end clients can't be bothered to go out and do this shopping, so they need someone to solve the problem for them. So what is that problem? Look around you. What are the problems around you? Is there something that you can create, a service, a product that can solve the problems around you? Pick one. Don't go for all 5 or 10 or 20 problems. Pick one and then try and solve the problem. If it's something that is a burden on your heart and you want to start a charity, or you want to raise money to solve a problem, I did that. Kirubai mentioned about conversations around Uganda, and I get very passionate about that. Oh yes, I do, because there's so many problems that I believe that God is empowering me to go and solve, and some of them are going to require some huge amounts of finances. So I need to raise the money and go out and solve these problems, because there's a huge generation there's a huge generation that relies on us to step up into that place and solve the problems that we need to solve. There are people that are waiting on us. There are generations that are waiting on us. There's kids who don't have access to education, and until somebody stands up and fights for them, then they will not have that access. And that's not fair. I know the world is not fair, but we can do the little that we can do to try and make it fair. We can't just say it's not fair, let's just leave it like that. It's a broken system, don't bother fixing it. No, 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 no. We can all play a part in creating positive change.
Yeah.
We can all play a part. And if you're a Christian, more so you, because God has not called us to just sit there and occupy space. There are things that He has called us to do. There's things He has placed in our hands to do. There's passions, there's desires. We're here to bring His kingdom. And His kingdom is not one where there's all this fighting and all these riots and all this, no, 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 no. So stand up, take your place, solve the problems you've been created to solve.
Yes. That reminds me, Elizabeth, I must plug this in. Talking about solving the problem, about Robert and I digging wells in India, solving the water problem.
There you go.
Yeah, I completely forgot about it. Yeah. Yes, that's God has enabled us to do it, and I believe God will enable you to start that young ladies' homes. Was it young ladies?
Do you know what? It's for now. It's going and working with what's on ground, but it's really to inspire the young ladies in the nation of Uganda and help them to know that no matter what has happened to them, they can still have a bright future.
Amen.
They can still, they can still shine. Basically, they can still shine regardless of what the world has dealt to them, regardless of what family, society has dealt to them. they can still shine because there is purpose in them.
Well done. Well said. There's purpose. Well,
So we're closing this.
yes, I think it's time.
Yeah. Right. My final words, there is purpose in you. So get up and do something. Don't just sit there. Be the change that you want to see.
Be the change you want to see.
So, with that, we are going to end today's broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 70. Yeah, I'm so excited. Episode 70. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you and enjoy the rest of your evening.
God bless you. See you next week. Same time, same place.